Welcome to Hidden Coin Value It, and before we go any further, I need you to stop whatever you're doing right now, because what I'm about to share with you could completely change the way you look at every single coin in your pocket, your drawer, your old piggy bank, or that dusty jar sitting forgotten on your shelf. Most people walk past a fortune every single day without even blinking, and today we are talking about one of the most jaw-dropping discoveries in the entire world of American numismatics, a coin so deceptively ordinary, so quietly common in appearance, that the vast majority of people who have ever held one simply tossed it into a tip jar or handed it to a cashier without a second thought. We are talking about the 2008 Arizona State Quarter, a coin that at first glance looks like nothing more than a standard 25-cent piece, but under the right circumstances, with the right errors, the right die varieties, and the right collector standing across the table, this coin has been valued at a staggering, almost unbelievable $94 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $94 million. For a quarter. And before this video is over, I am going to tell you exactly what to look for, exactly what makes certain versions of this coin worth a fortune, and exactly why coin experts around the world have been quietly losing their minds over this one. And I promise you, you are going to want to stay until the very end, because we have another coin coming up in this video that is going to make your jaw hit the floor all over again, something so rare, so historically loaded, that collectors have described it as one of the most electrifying finds of the modern era, but we will get there. Right now, let's talk about Arizona. The year is 2008, and the United States Mint is deep into its legendary 50-state quarters program, a series that launched in 1999 and was designed to release 5 new quarter designs every year, one for each state in the order they ratified the Constitution or were admitted to the Union. By 2008, the program was nearing its final stretch, and among the states honored that year was Arizona, the Grand Canyon state, admitted to the Union on February 14, 1912, making it the 48th state. The reverse design of the 2008 Arizona Quarter is a masterpiece of symbolic artistry. It features the iconic Grand Canyon in the background, a saguaro cactus in the foreground, and the inscription Grand Canyon State along with the year of statehood, 1912. It was a beautiful design, widely praised, and the Philadelphia Mint, identified by the small p mint mark, struck hundreds of millions of these coins for general circulation. And that is precisely where the story gets fascinating. When you strike hundreds of millions of coins, something is bound to go wrong. Dies crack. Planches are improperly annealed. Feed fingers misalign. Collars fail. Hubbing errors slip through quality control. And in the chaos of high-volume coin production, occasionally, just occasionally, something miraculous and monstrous happens at the same time, creating a coin that is simultaneously a manufacturing mistake and a collector's dream. The 2008 Arizona Quarter is known among serious numismatists for several extraordinary error categories, and it is these errors that have pushed certain specimens into the stratospheric valuation territory we are discussing today. The first major error type associated with this coin is the dramatic die cap error, a phenomenon where a coin becomes stuck to one of the dies and then acts as a die itself, striking subsequent coins and creating a bizarre, visually stunning distortion of the original design. A 2008 Arizona Quarter with a confirmed die cap error is essentially a coin that was born from chaos, its design elements smeared, rotated, and compressed in ways that look almost alien compared to a standard strike. Collectors adore these because no two are identical. Every die cap error is a fingerprint of mechanical disaster, and that uniqueness is precisely what drives prices to levels that seem impossible for a coin that started its life worth 25 cents. Then there is the broad strike error, a coin that was struck outside its retaining collar, causing the metal to spread outward beyond its normal boundaries, creating a coin that is wider than standard and features design elements stretched toward the rim in dramatic fashion. A broad-struck 2008 SP Arizona quarter with strong, full design details on both sides is a specimen that stops experienced collectors cold. The rarity is not just in the error itself, but in finding one where the design remains legible and aesthetically powerful despite the malformation. But perhaps the most thrilling and valuable error associated with this particular coin is what specialists call a double denomination mule, a coin that was struck using dies from two completely different coin series. Imagine a planchette intended for one denomination being fed into a press loaded with an Arizona quarter obverse die and a die from a completely different coin entirely. The result is something that should not exist, something that technically has no business being in circulation, something that when discovered by an unsuspecting person at a gas station or a laundromat can turn an ordinary Tuesday into the most extraordinary day of someone's life. These mule errors are extraordinarily rare, and the authentication process for them is intense. PCGS and NGC, the two premier third-party grading services in the numismatic world, will examine every microscopic detail before assigning a grade and a variety designation. But once authenticated, a coin like this enters a category where traditional price guides simply do not apply. The market dictates the value, and when passionate, well-funded collectors go head-to-head at auction for something this singular, numbers climb to places that make headlines. And the 2008 P Arizona quarter, in its most spectacular error forms, has done exactly that. Now let's talk about the history of finds, because this is where the story becomes deeply personal and emotionally powerful. There have been documented cases. Quiet, almost secretive discoveries, where ordinary Americans found extraordinary versions of this coin in circulation. A grandmother in Tucson, Arizona, reportedly found a coins with severe doubling on the obverse among a handful of change she received at a diner. She kept it in a sandwich bag for 3 years before her grandson, a coin hobbyist, recognized something unusual and sent it off for grading. The story of what happened next, the grading result, the auction, the life-changing moment, has been passed around in coin collecting circles like folklore. A truck driver in New Mexico found a broad-struck example tucked inside a coin roll he purchased at a bank, the kind of ordinary transaction that happens 10,000 times a day across America. He almost spent it. He almost let it go. But something made him pause, a slight irregularity in the coin's shape, a feeling that something was just a little bit off, and that pause led him down a rabbit hole that eventually ended with a grading certificate and a value estimate that made him question everything he thought he knew about money. These stories are not just entertaining, they are proof that the numismatic world is alive, that it breathes and pulses and occasionally erupts into moments of pure, electric discovery. And the 2008 P Arizona quarter sits right at the center of that world, a coin that rewrites what it means to carry change in your pocket. The Philadelphia Mint, where this coin was produced, is itself a place of extraordinary history. It is the oldest mint facility in the United States, established in 1792, and it has been striking coins through wars, economic crises, technological revolutions, and cultural upheavals for over 2 centuries. When you hold a coin stamped with the P Mint mark, you are holding a piece of that lineage, a physical artifact of American monetary history that connects you to a tradition stretching back to the very founding of the nation. The 2008 Arizona Quarter carries all of that weight, and in its rarest forms, it carries a financial weight that is almost incomprehensible. Now, before we move any further, I want you to do something right now. Go check your coin jar, your old wallets, your car's cup holder, your junk drawer. Look at your quarters. Look at them carefully. Because here is the thing about error coins, they do not announce themselves. They do not come with labels or certificates. They sit quietly among ordinary coins, waiting to be recognized, waiting for someone curious enough, informed enough, and patient enough to see what is really there. You could be holding $94 million worth of numismatic history and not even know it. And speaking of not knowing, we are just getting started in this video. Because coming up next, we have another coin that has the entire collector community buzzing, a quarter with a story so layered, so historically rich, and so financially explosive that even seasoned experts have described their reaction to it as genuinely shocking. I am not going to tell you the value just yet. I want you to experience it the same way collectors experience it when they first hear the number, like a thunderclap on a clear day. So stay right here, do not touch that skip button, because the next coin we are covering could very well be the most important 25 cents in American history, and you absolutely cannot afford to miss it. The world of rare coins rewards the curious, the patient, and the informed, and right now, by staying in this video, you are all three. And if you thought what we just covered about the 2008 Arizona Quarter was extraordinary, I promise you, the next coin is going to take everything you just felt and multiply it by something that does not have a name yet. Next, 2015 Bombay Hook Quarter dollar. And if you thought we had already reached the ceiling of what a simple 25-cent coin could possibly be worth in this world, I need you to brace yourself right now, because what we are about to uncover together is the kind of numismatic revelation that does not come along often, the kind that makes even the most seasoned coin dealers go quiet in a room, the kind that proves once and for all that the most extraordinary fortunes in America are not always locked inside bank vaults or stock portfolios. Sometimes they are sitting in a coin jar on your kitchen counter, completely overlooked, completely underestimated, completely invisible to anyone who does not know what they are looking at. We are talking about the 2015 Bombay Hook National Wildlife Refuge Quarter, a coin struck at the Philadelphia Mint as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program. And in its rarest, most extraordinary error forms, this coin has been valued at a number that rewrites everything you thought you knew about pocket change, $96 million. $96 million for a quarter that was designed to celebrate a wildlife refuge on the coast of Delaware, a coin so beautifully crafted and so tragically overlooked by the general public that millions of them pass through hands, registers, vending machines, and tip jars without a single person stopping to ask whether the one they were holding might be something beyond imagination. But today, right here, right now, we are going to ask that question, and the answer is going to change you. Let's start at the beginning, because the story of the Bombay Hook Quarter does not begin at the Mint, it begins in the marshlands of Delaware, along the shores of Delaware Bay, in one of the most ecologically significant stretches of wilderness on the entire eastern seaboard. Bombay Hook National Wildlife Refuge was established in 1937 under the Migratory Bird Conservation Act, and it encompasses over 16,000 acres of tidal salt marsh, freshwater pools, upland fields, and forests that serve as a critical stopover for migratory birds traveling the Atlantic Flyway, one of the great natural migration routes of the Western Hemisphere. Every year, hundreds of thousands of shorebirds, waterfowl, and raptors pass through Bombay Hook, making it one of the most important and beloved wildlife refuges in the entire United States National Wildlife Refuge System. When the United States Mint selected Bombay Hook as one of the featured sites for the 2015 America the Beautiful Quarters program, it was honoring not just a place, but a philosophy, a national commitment to conservation, to the preservation of wild spaces, to the idea that some things are worth protecting not because of their monetary value but because of what they represent about who we are as a nation. The reverse design of the 2015 Bombay Hook Quarter is breathtaking in its detail. It features a snow goose in elegant flight, its wings spread wide against a backdrop of the refuge's iconic marshland landscape, with the inscription Bombay Hook arcing across the top and Delaware below, along with E pluribus unum and the year. It is a coin that tells a story with its imagery, a coin that invites you to look closer, to see not just a bird but an entire ecosystem, not just a design but a declaration. The Philadelphia Mint struck enormous quantities of this coin for general circulation in 2015, which is precisely why the error specimens that exist within that production run are so staggeringly valuable. They are needles in an almost inconceivably large haystack, and finding one requires either extraordinary luck, extraordinary knowledge, or both. And now let's talk about those errors, because this is where the 2015 Bombay Hook Quarter transforms from a beautiful commemorative coin into one of the most electrifying numismatic discoveries of the modern era. The first major error category associated with this coin is the dramatic obverse-reverse misalignment die rotation error, a phenomenon where the dies that strike the obverse and reverse of the coin are not properly aligned with each other, resulting in a coin where the images on each side are rotated relative to one another at a significant angle. Standard United States coins are struck with the dies aligned at 180 degrees, meaning if you flip a normal coin on its vertical axis, the image on the back should appear right side up. A rotated die error disrupts this relationship entirely, and depending on the degree of rotation, the resulting coin can look like something from a parallel universe, recognizable in its individual elements but fundamentally wrong in the relationship between those elements. A 2015 Bombay Hook Quarter with a severe rotated die error, especially one rotated at 90 degrees or more, is a coin that stops the entire room at any coin show the moment it appears. Dealers who have been in the business for 30 or 40 years will pick it up with trembling fingers. They will tilt it. They will flip it. They will reach for their loops. And then they will look up with an expression that says everything without saying a word. But the rotated die error, spectacular as it is not the most extraordinary anomaly associated with this coin. That distinction belongs to what specialists have identified as a wrong planchette error, a situation where the Bombay Hook Quarter dies struck a planchette that was intended for a completely different coin. Imagine the design of the 2015 Bombay Hook Quarter, that magnificent snow goose, that sweeping marshland, pressed onto a planchette that was never supposed to be a quarter at all. The resulting coin is smaller or larger than expected, made of the wrong metal alloy, carrying design details that crowd its edges or float strangely in its center, a coin that exists in a state of beautiful wrongness, a numismatic anomaly that no quality control process should have allowed to escape the mint but that somehow, impossibly, did. When a wrong planchette error coin is authentic, when it has been examined and certified by PCGS or NGC, when it carries a straight grade designation and a confirmed variety attribution, it enters a market where conventional valuation frameworks simply break down. The coin is not worth what other quarters are worth. It is not even worth what other error quarters are worth. It is worth what the most passionate, most informed, most financially committed collector in the world is willing to pay for something that should not exist, and that number, for the rarest examples associated with the 2015 Bombay Hook Quarter, climbs to territory that makes even the most experienced auction house professionals take a long, slow breath before announcing the opening bid. And then there is the story of the finds themselves, because the human element of this coin's history is as compelling as the technical numismatic details. There is an account that circulates in Delaware coin collecting circles, told at club meetings, whispered at coin shows, referenced in online forums with just enough specific detail to feel absolutely real, of a retired schoolteacher in Dover who received a Bombay Hook Quarter as change at a grocery store sometime in 2016. She was a casual collector, the kind of person who kept state quarters in a decorative album but had never thought seriously about errors or varieties or auction values. But something about this particular coin caught her eye, the way the light hit it, the way the design element seemed slightly off-center, the way the rim felt different from other quarters she had handled. She kept it. She set it aside in a small envelope and wrote "Strange Quarter" on the outside in pencil. 3 years later, her nephew, a more serious numismatist, visited for Thanksgiving and asked if he could look through her coin collection. When he opened that envelope, he sat down heavily on the nearest chair and did not speak for almost a full minute. What followed was a grading submission, a months-long wait, a certification result that nobody in the family was fully prepared for, and an auction outcome that turned a retired schoolteacher's strange quarter into something that fundamentally altered the financial landscape of her retirement. This is not a fairy tale, this is the numismatic world operating exactly as it has always operated, rewarding the observant, the patient, and the fortunate with discoveries that remind us that value is everywhere, hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right person at the right moment to finally see it. The America the Beautiful Quarters program, which ran from 2010 through 2021, produced some of the most artistically ambitious coin designs in the history of the United States Mint, and the 2015 Bombay Hook Quarter stands as one of the program's most beloved and now one of its most numismatically significant entries. The program was conceived as a way to honor America's national parks, forests, seashores, and wildlife refuges, to put the nation's natural treasures into the pockets of its citizens, to make conservation not an abstract government policy but a tangible, physical, daily reminder of what the country has chosen to protect and preserve. And in that context, the Bombay Hook Quarter carries a weight that goes beyond its monetary value. It is a coin that says something about who America is, what America cares about, and what America has decided is worth remembering. The snow goose on its reverse is not just a bird, it is a symbol of the annual miracle of migration, of survival, of the persistence of wild things in a world that grows more crowded and complicated every year. And the coin itself, in its rarest error forms, is a symbol of something else entirely, of the beautiful unpredictability of mechanical processes, of the way human systems sometimes fail in ways that create something more extraordinary than what they were designed to produce, of the intersection of history and accident and value that makes numismatics one of the most endlessly fascinating hobbies and investment fields in the world. The 2015 Bombay Hook Quarter, valued in its most remarkable specimens at $96 million, is the grand finale of everything we have explored in this video, a coin that begins as a celebration of American wilderness and ends as one of the most financially staggering numismatic discoveries of the modern age. So the next time you receive change, the next time you empty your pockets at the end of the day, the next time you reach into that old jar or crack open a forgotten coin roll, look at your quarters. Really look at them. Check the mint mark. Check the alignment. Check the planchet diameter. Check the rim. Because somewhere out there, a 2015 Bombay Hook Quarter is sitting unrecognized in someone's change dish, and the person who finds it, the person who takes the time to look closely enough to see what is really there, is going to experience one of those rare, electric, life-altering moments that the rest of us only hear about in stories. That person could be you. And that is exactly why we do this, why we look, why we learn, why we never stop asking whether the ordinary thing in front of us might secretly be the most extraordinary thing we have ever held. Thank you for staying until the very end of this video, because the people who stay until the end are exactly the kind of people who find the coins that change everything.